Wish you could travel to France, but you're broke? Well, all you need is some photo editing skills. Then, edit yourself into a cool French background, and boom. You're practically strolling down the Champs-Élysées. Just remember, there's always a catch. The cost of faking your life online might come back to bite her later. At the offices of the online magazine, Depravity, editor Susan clashes with photo editor Danny, who yearns to be a writer. Her article, Why Am I So Sad?, blames her emptiness on privileged factors like living in NYC and missing 9/11s, which supposedly shaped her generation. Susan rejects the piece, calling out Danny's tone deafness, a major part of her character. Danny is popularity obsessed, fawning over the most successful writers at work. Everyone ignores her blandness, including her crush, Colin, a coworker and big social influencer. She's so oblivious that she fails to see the hypocrisy of wanting attention from popular colleagues while snubbing underdogs who reach out. Danny doesn't even learn the names of these underdogs. Her bad manners extend to the popular crowd too. Hearing queer writers Harper and Larson discuss a queer bowling night, she tries to insert herself, claiming a one-time college girl kiss makes her part of the community. When Harper tells her she can't come, Danny dares to say queer people are lucky to have a community and parades while she'll be alone in her apartment. One afternoon, wanting to try the new matcha cafe, Danny runs into Colin, who doesn't recognize her. Danny chats him up, faking an interest in smoking like he does, even taking a puff of his odd cigarette and lying about her job, claiming to be a writer already. She mentions the possibility of a writer's retreat, and when Colin shows interest, Danny escalates the lie, saying she's headed to one in Paris next week. Back home, Danny panics because she lacks the funds for Paris, and her parents won't help. Suddenly, her guinea pig messes with her keyboard during photo edits, and the image mix gives Danny an idea. She can fake being in Paris with edited social media posts. Danny dives into the lie, requesting vacation from Susan, telling her parents about the trip, and even making a fake website for the non-existent retreat. She puts more effort into these photos than her real job, gaining modest followers, including Colin. Days later, Danny posts a pic of herself at the Arc de Triomphe, timing her comments to match French hours. She goes to sleep, only to wake up to dozens of worried messages asking how she is. It turns out coordinated terrorist attacks struck major Parisian landmarks early that morning, including the location in Danny's picture. The attackers are still at large, but witnesses saw someone suspicious in a green jacket. Danny's phone buzzes non-stop with messages and a call from her panicked mother, demanding she return home. Nervous and pressured, Danny considers coming clean until she gets a message from Colin. That's when it hits her. Being a tragedy survivor will give her the attention she craves, so she decides to keep up the lie and post that she's safe. The next day, Danny sneaks around the airport with a suitcase, blending in with the crowd returning from France, to pretend she's also arriving. Her parents, Judith and Harold, are there to greet her with tears and hugs, yet Danny focuses on looking upset for the reporters. Moments later, at her parents' home, Danny is pampered like never before, so she leans into the lie, claiming she was near the blast, having walked away just seconds before. That night, she dreams of being in Paris, followed by the green-jacketed stranger. The attention doubles when she returns to work the next day, treated like a celebrity. Feigning distress, Susan tells Danny she can take the day off and offers any support needed. Still eager to milk the situation, Danny asks to write an article about her ordeal, and Susan agrees to publish it. Danny then spins a dramatic tale of her Paris experience for her coworkers, earning sympathy and even an invite to queer bowling night from Harold. Even Colin checks on her, gifting her a get-well cigarette. Later on the subway, Danny sees her picture on a news feed and comments that it's her, garnering hundreds of new social media followers. When the lights flicker, Danny thinks she sees the green-jacketed stranger nearby, but dismisses it as nerves. The next step is writing the article, but Danny struggles, having no real trauma to draw from. A solution comes when she recalls her mother mentioning a survivor support group and decides to attend for inspiration. The group is led by Linda, who understands if Danny doesn't want to talk on her first day due to fresh trauma. Many have stories, but the most eloquent is Rowan, a teen who survived a school shooting. Danny finds the meeting dull and doesn't plan to return, but overhearing someone mention Rowan's online fame sparks a change of heart. She cozies up to Rowan, asking for her number and promising to hang out, while ignoring others seeking the same. Back home, Danny looks Rowan up and discovers she's a major anti-gun activist. Her speech is powerful due to their raw emotion. Danny texts Rowan for a hangout, and Rowan happily accepts, needing an understanding friend closer in age, like a big sister. Of course, Danny's motives aren't pure. She wants Rowan's advice on writing a powerful article. Rowan agrees to help, but instead of a cafe, she takes Danny to a place called Rage Space. Here, People pay to destroy things to vent their dark emotions. Tone deaf as usual, Danni enjoys it and laughs, but Rowan ends the session in tears, explaining this is how she writes, by exposing your truth, because if you're not okay, that's your biggest asset. Excited with newfound inspiration, Danni returns home ready to write. Her article says people don't need to hear her story. What matters is that pain can be an asset, and everyone should express themselves instead of passively scrolling through bad news. She encourages everyone to use the hashtag #IamNotOkay. The article is a hit with Danni's coworkers, especially Colin, but something feels off to Harper. Once published, Danni sends the article to Rowan as a gesture of gratitude, secretly hoping Rowan will share it with her followers. Rowan feels strange seeing her own words were written, but shares the article anyway to support other survivors. Thanks to Rowan, Danni's article goes viral. Soon, everyone is sharing their feelings using Danni's hashtag, even celebrities. Danni's name becomes known as an influencer. The next time Danni visits the support group, she starts talking about sharing her pain through the article, but soon forgets the act and brags about her fame. Rowan feels uncomfortable, but tries to stay supportive, warning Danni about internet trolls. After the meeting, Danni finds out about a kickball game the group will have on the weekend and promises to go. Rowan also mentions her school's upcoming talent show, unsure if she should join with her poetry. Danni encourages her, saying she's incredibly talented. Things get awkward when Rowan admits it's harder without her sister, who died in the shooting. After dropping Rowan off at school, Danni sees a street ad and again fears the green jacket stranger is near. Later at the office, there's a small party to celebrate Danni's article becoming the magazine's most popular publication in years. The underdogs try to talk to Danni about how she's inspired them, but Danni ignores them for Colin. He invites her to a party next weekend, and Danni accepts, forgetting about Rowan's kickball invite. Then, Harper approaches Danni, wanting to hear more about Danni's Paris trip. The details Danni invents on the spot only fuel Harper's suspicion. On Saturday, Danni goes to Colin's party, filled with selfie spots and product promotions. Danni spends time with Colin taking shots and making tone-deaf Instagram clips, but even while having fun, she spots the green jacket stranger in the crowd. Unnerved, she asks Colin to leave, and he agrees, hoping to take her to the bathroom for a hookup. Unfortunately, the experience is bad for Danni as Colin finishes too quickly. Frustrated and disappointed, Danni rushes to the nearest pharmacy to buy Plan B. Checking her socials, she sees Colin already with other girls at the party, while Rowan has modest but genuine fun at the game. This makes Danni realize the shallowness of her circle, and she hurries to join the support group's kickball match. Danni has never been sporty, but the evening is surprisingly fun and shows her where genuine people are. Rowan again expresses gratitude for having someone young in the group, especially since losing her sister. Danni offers to help with preparations for the next rally to give Rowan the support she needs. From then on, Danni mixes posts about important causes and promoting Rowan's organization, still indulging in the superficial aspects of interviews, like showing off her style. Later, Harper gives Danni her latest article for Susan's viral touch, but Danni is leaving for the rally and promises to look at it later. On her way out, Colin tries to ask her out, but Danni now sees him as a loser and rejects him. Meanwhile, Harper notices Danni left her laptop open with a video playing. The lack of password lets Harper snoop a bit. Rowan and Linda pick Danni up, and she learns they're mother and daughter. Linda used to work at the school where the shooting happened before quitting to fully dedicate herself to the support group. Rowan is nervous about today, knowing dangerous protesters can disrupt the rally, so Danni helps her relax by playing songs Rowan enjoyed with her sister. Once they reach the rally, security helps them onto the stage, where Rowan lets Danni speak first. Danni's prepared a respectful speech about gun control, mentioning Rowan's sister and saying she should be there instead. She can't resist including her own Paris incident though. In the crowd, Danni again sees the green jacket stranger, but this time manages to ignore them and focus on her speech. Sadly, it doesn't last. Trolls calling them snowflakes throw firecrackers at the stage, scattering the crowd and triggering Rowan's PTSD. Security guards them to safety, but the police do little and reporters crowd them, refusing to give space. Hours later, Rowan's hospitalized collapse is all over the news. Thousands of social media comments insult her, calling her weak and mocking the truth bomb, firecracker brand. A war veteran even accuses Rowan of lying about surviving the school shooting. The horrifying sight leaves Danni in tears, but she pulls herself together for Rowan's sake. The poor girl feels she failed as an example, crying over her shame and weakness. Danni reminds her trolls don't matter. However, Danni feels ashamed when Rowan wonders how she stays so strong. Their conversation is interrupted by the doctor checking on Rowan, giving Danni an excuse to leave. On her way out, Linda stops Danni, thanking her for being Rowan's only support system. This worsens Danni's guilt. Home. Danni has another Paris nightmare, this time watching Rowan run towards the blast. Desperate to save her, Danni chases, only to run into the green jacket stranger and find her own face under the hood. The nightmare ends abruptly as the doorbell rings. It's Harper, who discovered the truth after snooping on Danni's laptop. Harper demands she come clean, giving her until Monday or she'll write and expose herself. Tearfully, Danni tries to explain she's better now and attempts to bribe Harper, who yells that people died and she owes Rowan an apology. After trashing her apartment, Danni decides to write her truth, at least offering her side of the story. She admits full responsibility, but mentions she was depressed and high when the lie began. She swears she regrets it and is changing for the better, with coming clean as the first step. Danni considers apologizing to the support group in person, especially Rowan, but she gets scared near the building and runs. The next morning, her article goes viral, making Rowan's name trend too. Seeing this, Rowan storms into the office to confront Danni in front of everyone, expressing her hurt over this betrayal and how she deserved a face-to-face talk, not a stupid article. Their fight is interrupted by Susan, who fires Danni on the spot and kicks her out. In the following weeks, Danni faces the consequences of her actions. People online vent their anger in various ways, from mild criticism to death threats and doxing. Depressed again, Danni stays in her apartment, drinking heavily and only leaving to restock her fridge. Even at the store, magazines and newspapers carry her face, and people don't hesitate to harass her in person. For safety, Danni moves back with her parents. Harold tries to be understanding despite receiving death threats at work, but Judith is furious, lashing out with hurtful comments. Overwhelmed by social media attacks, Danni deactivates all her accounts. Nearly 2 months later, Danni starts attending a support group for victims of online shaming. Through reflection, Danni admits she never liked herself much, and now hates herself for failing to see how privileged her life was. She's unsure if she's grown, so the group leader suggests making amends face-to-face instead of online apologies. Danni agrees, deciding to attend Rowan's school talent show, wearing a cap to blend in. She's prepared a heartfelt apology on her phone, memorizing it while others perform. Things take a turn when Rowan's turn comes. Her monologue isn't her usual activism, but a rant about her pain being used as clickbait. She calls out people like Danni who get documentaries while her community is told to wait. The monologue earns a standing ovation. As Danni watches her hug her mother, she realizes an apology would be more for her own benefit than Rowan's. Doing the right thing, Danni leaves the building, crying silently.